Political correctness, man, it's out of fucking control.
Yeah, I confess, Father, I confess, 'cause I've been living wrong. I know.
Yep, so I'm back from Big Bear. I survived. I had a great time out there with the family. It's a perfect time to sit there and interact with with your nieces, nephews, brother-in-laws. Your whole family, dude. You go out there and it's a gorgeous place. But what it's all about is about just sitting there in a cabin with your family and getting to know each other. And while I was in there, I was having a conversation with one of my nephews, man. And it didn't get heated by any words, but I could tell him at a certain time he got real emotional about it, where he felt it. And we're talking about that blackface incident that happened in Virginia. In Virginia, you had a governor, a lieutenant governor, and who's the other guy? He's like a treasurer or something like that, or maybe a little higher. It's the three main guys out in Virginia, and they're all Democrats. One in 1980 had a picture of him dressed in blackface with next to I think a Klans guy. Same thing, they were in costume for a not Christmas party. I think some type of costume party. Well, the lieutenant governor was sitting there talking shit about that guy because I guess he wanted his position. Well, after that, the lieutenant governor comes out and he gets caught for a blackface like in '84 or something like that. He was being a Curtis Blow, and he went into a party and they went rapping as Curtis Blow, and again they put a blackface. The third in line was another gentleman. He's a black candidate, and he got caught for some sexual harassment. So I told that story to my nephew. I said, don't be so quick to judge somebody because it might come back to bite you in the ass. And he said, no, those people are racist, this and that. He got it like he really felt it. And I understood where he was coming from. But what I try to explain to him is, hey, brother, you're young, man. You're real young right now. You think the world works in a certain way. And what you're going to notice is every year that goes by, you're going to start getting a little more conservative. And you're going to start seeing life in a different way. Well, another thing I also explained to him was like, let me tell you something. The 80s compared to now, it's a whole different time, man. If you brought back all those people from the 80s, you'd say they're all a bunch of racists. They're a bunch of sexual pigs. Let me just give you a couple of good examples of movies that just could not be made today that were made in the 80s that were actually pretty damn good movies, man. Police Academy. You had like 4 or 5 police academies. You would never in today's world be able to make a police academy because it had a bunch of racist jokes. It had homosexual jokes. It had sexual jokes against women. It was just all out, I guess, against #MeToo or any other political correct thing that we're doing today in America. Another great and funny movie was Porky's. Porky's was a movie about some kids in, I want to say, high school, and it was just sexual, man. Sexual, funny, it's just stupid guy shit. But in today's world, you could never make Porky's, man. There's another movie I'm thinking about too. Oh yeah, Revenge of the Nerds, man. Revenge of the Nerds with the rape scene. You would never be able to make Revenge of the Nerds in today's world, man. And what you got to think is a lot of these people that are against all kind of stuff and saying, oh, you can't do that, you can't do this. They worked for those same companies back in the 80s, man. You had those big companies were the ones making, those studios were making those movies. And it was okay because that's the phase we were in America. Like I said, people are so quick to judge. And like I told my nephew, I said, listen, brother, don't be so quick to judge because in 20 or 30 years, you might be the racist. It's just like the Confederate flag. Let's put that in place. The Confederate flag, to many people, and I understand that, it's a racially motivated flag. It reminds them of slavery. I guess it puts real bad thoughts into their head, and everybody wants those Confederate flags taken down. They want certain schools that are named after certain Southern generals or whatnot taken away. They want to clean the history of America, and you can't do that, man. If that's the case, then we shouldn't wave the American flag. Because if you brought all the founding fathers, okay, if you brought back every single one of the founding fathers and put them in America today, they'd all be racist, man. They would all be racist. You can't sit here and make everybody guilty for stuff that happened in the past. And I'm not talking about 5 or 10 years ago, but I'm talking about anything from like 30, 40 years ago. And if somebody's lived now a next to decent life, and now you're going to start to sit there and say, look what you did back when you were in high school in 1980. man, get the fuck out of here. You know, nowadays, it's like people are falling over each other to be in line to be the first one to be offended, man. And that, I'm gonna call it out. For the most part, it's black people, but now black people are feeling the end result of homosexuals, because homosexuals are now pushing black people behind and saying, "You're offending us." Look at Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart lost the Academy Awards for a joke he made about a black person. It was a fucking joke, man. It's like this, man. You know, guys to this day will still say, "Come on, fool, stop being a homo." That doesn't mean anything about, oh, we hate gay people. Gay people are just fags. No, man. It's just a phrase that was brought up back then, and it's still used to today. I'm sorry, people, whether you like it or not, that's just the reality of it. Me, I don't live a politically correct world. I will never come at you politically correct, but I will come at you correct, man. If you're a man, woman, and you treat me with respect, I'm going to treat you the exact same way. You had Katy Perry, I think it was. She had some kind of stiletto shoes, and she had little faces on them, but she made both like beige shoes and black shoes. Well, she had to pull those off of her line because people got offended and they said it was blackface. It's like anything nowadays, people would just jump to and get offended. And there is some cases that it needs to be done and people need to get offended. But you know what? People are just overdoing it, man. Every little thing. You know, let me call out some people too. All right. If you get offended by people saying blackface or saying certain words, then why don't you get offended by when you see the Washington Redskins or the Braves? Those are straight stereotypes or just disrespecting Indians, man. But there's not enough Indians out here in America to make noise, so nobody says anything. Nobody gives a shit. You know, to all those football players on the Redskins who don't like blackface, want to kneel down, you shouldn't go play for that team until they change their name. That would be like them calling, let's say, the Chicago Blacks or the Chicago Colors. You would hate that, man. That would be like the LA fucking Mexicans or something. Or the LA fucking brown people. You're not going to take that. That's a horrible name. But then again, you got the Washington Redskins. Why? And why doesn't nobody change it? Because it's history, because it's the state's name, or I mean, it's been the team's name, and nobody changes it. But in reality, the reason they don't change it is because there's not enough people out there making noise. People will only sit there and try to make noise for their own people, but when it comes to anybody else, they don't give a shit. Asian people. How many people? When I was young, oh my god, what was that fucking joke? Chino Japonés, dame something over there, some shit like that. That's just the stupid fucking jokes we would make, man. Would it be okay to make it now? No, I don't think it was. But if somebody came and told me, "Hey Gil, you made that joke when you were in 6th grade, you're a fucking racist," I'd tell them this, man. You know, that's my politically correct world. How many people have played cowboys and Indians? How many people dress up in like Indian clothing for parties? I saw that. I forgot what person did that. You know, if we take what everybody's being offended at and take it across the board, well then, you know what? We couldn't have any Irish parties when Irish people are going to start saying, "Hey, we don't want you putting Irish clothes. You're not Irish. You're being a vulture culture." When it comes to Cinco de Mayo, people put the sombreros and party. "Hey, you can't put those sombreros on. We don't want you to act Mexican. You're a culture." You can't do that, man. You can't keep pushing that same agenda, because what's going to happen, this country is going to become a country of people being scared to say anything, of people actually being able to open up because they're going to be scared that somebody's going to call them a racist, man. And that's just not what it is. We as Americans are evolving, and every 20, 30 years, it changes, man. From the 20s to the 30s to the 40s, every certain 2 to 3 decades, we change the way we think about each other. We change the way we treat each other because we're getting to know each other a little more. But if you sit there and every time you think you're being disrespected and you just want to say, "Gotcha," and then you start pushing on somebody real hard like that, no, man. Because you know what's going to happen? One day it's going to be your turn to the barrel, people. And when it's your turn to the barrel, don't sit here and complain and say, "Oh, why are you treating me like this? Why you act?" Well, you're getting treated the way you treat everybody else. You're trying to put somebody to a standard that just doesn't exist, man. When people are young, especially in their 20s, they think they know how the world works. They think it's a beautiful place where we should hug each other and live together in harmony. Well, it's not like that, man. And one way I will challenge, especially Especially people who have a little bit of money and sit there and say stuff like that. That no, we all should be equal. We all should love each other. Like, in other words, we all should be a lovely, fucking, beautiful place to live. I would love that, but that's just not the reality. And that's the reason you don't live in a black neighborhood. That's the reason you don't live in a brown neighborhood. That's the reason you don't live in a poor neighborhood. You go out, live in a nice, beautiful fucking place, and want to sit there from your nice, beautiful place and say, "Oh, you guys are racist. Oh, you guys are this." Well, then why don't you go live in the hood? Go live in the hood with the rest of us, and then I'll sit there and say, all right, you're one of us. But while you're up in the hill, you're out in your beautiful house, nowhere near the hood, and saying that we're racist, we should treat each other better, well, why don't you come live with us? You know, and that's to people who have money and are sitting there trying to be like that. To people who are in the hood and saying that people are racist, what's the most racist thing we do? We kill each other, man. Plain and simple. I don't give a shit about words. Words are just words, man. I could give a shit. What I care is about that one fool rolling up with the fucking rifle and busting on my homies. That's what I'm worried about. You know, or in a black neighborhood, that black cat rolling on another black one and busting on other black people and killing them. We are so quick to get offended by words, but when we kill each other, that's what we do. You know, I had a comment. I think it was Liam Neeson when I did. There was somebody said that us as minorities, we can't be racist. Oh, brother, you are so mistaken, man. I have ran into a lot of Mexicans, Latinos that are straight racist, man. That are straight say, fuck that nigger. Straight up, brother. I have ran into people like, just like I ran into fucking black people that will say, fuck that wetback. I ran into both sides, especially in jail, that were just some racist motherfuckers. I was never like that. To me, if you come at me right, I'm coming at you right. Plain and simple, man. It doesn't get much easier than that. But if you're going to sit here and say that black people and brown people can't be racist, man, you've got a lot to learn and you must be pretty fucking young. So like I was telling my nephew after this whole conversation, I said, listen, man, right now, you guys are living in the greatest time in America as far as race relations go. It's not perfect by any means, but it's much better than anywhere else in the country, man, or anywhere else in the world, let's say. A lot of people just have this misconception. They think that the rest of the world's like America, man, and it's not, people. They think the rest of the world's civilized, and it's not. The majority of the worlds are poor, war-torn, and just have a bunch of fucking problems. You got Canada, you got America. You got this chunk right here. Then you go down Mexico all the way to South America. That's all third world country. You got the continent of Africa. That's all third world country. You got Russia. You got China. They have either rich, the majority are poor. You got all these Middle Eastern countries. You got a little bit of rich, and the rest are all poor, man. The majority of the world is not beautiful, is not this great, beautiful place to live in, guys. This is it. But the more we keep pushing that politically correct shit, the less we're talking to each other because people are afraid to sound racist. Like I said, me personally, I'm not afraid to sound racist because I'm not. And I won't come at you politically correct, but I will come at you correct. Either way, guys, I appreciate the subscriptions. I'm glad you guys are interacting more. I'm back. Hit me up if you guys want to talk about anything, and I'll talk to you guys later, man. Bye.
Yeah, I confess, Father, I confess, 'cause I've been living wrong.